Hi, I'm author Stephen Magee, and I'm here to tell you about a horrible story of my trip in Atlanta Airport. I was on my vacation, returning home. I was doing some video recording, as I typically do, without any issues in a USA airport. It was a little bit different this time. Somebody called the police on me. And when the police showed up, they were super toxic, broke all kinds of rules, regulations, and laws with me. And that included the theft of my carry-on bag. So I'm in Atlanta Airport. A group of police officers show up, and they ultimately steal this bag from me. As you can see, it has my tag that details my address. And there were bills inside of this bag that also detailed my address. So there were no issues about who this bag belonged to. And the police officers knew who I was, and they knew that this was my bag. But they stole it from me, and you're going to be very, very surprised where it showed up, given that it's tagged up with my name and address. Well, I actually found this bag in police lost property. I had no idea where it was. So when I left the police station, the last time I saw this bag, it was being searched. So they were opening everything up and looking throughout it. I had not given them permission to do that. So they just violated all my privacy with this bag, completely searched it, and then they disappeared it. So when I queried where it was with the police officers, they just stayed silent. So the theft of my bag was very much intentional by those police officers. So I had to go on a little search around Atlanta for this bag. And I went to the airport, and I found out by wandering around the airport and asking questions that there's 2 lost property departments for Atlanta Airport. So if you're ever in an airport, just be aware of that. So the airport lost property department was actually closed, as was the police lost property department. So I couldn't check them on the day I was at the airport on a Sunday. But the next day I called around, and I actually found this bag at police lost property. Now, the interesting thing about this bag is that when it goes to police lost property, they only hold it for 90 days. After 90 days, they either auction it or they destroy it. So the fate of this bag, had I not recovered it, was it was going to be sold. Or if there were no buyers, it probably would have been destroyed. So this bag had been saved by me from that fate. And I was fortunate that I was able to recover it within the 90 days to stop that from happening. But I didn't know where this bag was, so I found it by calling around the lost property departments. I found it at police lost property. And the problem with police lost property is it's not at the airport. It's well away from the airport. It's about 16 miles away from the airport. It's about a 45-minute drive if there's no heavy traffic. And you basically need a rental car to get out there. So it's very, very hard for an airline passenger to recover the stolen property by the police department from police lost property. So I was kind of wondering, why would police officers send my stuff to lost property when it's tagged up? And the only thing I can come up with is maybe they were going to purchase it at the auction, because they'd searched all throughout my bag. And they knew exactly what the contents of this bag was. And then they sent it to the lost property department, where it would have been auctioned 90 days later. And, if you know exactly what's inside the bag at the auction, then you know the price of the bag. So to me, it seems that these police officers may be disappearing bags out of the airport down to lost property after searching them and then purchasing them, knowing exactly the price of what is inside the bag and how much to bid on the bag. So that's kind of what I think is going on in Atlanta Airport Police Department, is this theft of bags that they're engaging in, as they did with me, is about possibly, we can't be 100% sure, but it's possibly about repurchasing the bag legally 90 days later. So that's what I think the fraud is. I think that's the incentive to thieve the bags. And I was very, very fortunate to get it back. And I'm going to show you why I went to the effort to get this bag back. It's because it has my computer hard drive in it. That's the complete backup of my life on a computer. It's just sitting there in this bag. Completely labelled up is what it is. Anybody searching my bag would have encountered that my computer hard drive was in this bag, and that they could have purchased my bag, including the computer hard drive, and accessed absolutely everything on my computer. So I gotta say, I'm very uncomfortable with the thought of a police officer going through my computer hard drive. It doesn't sit well with me, particularly in the fact that I'm a police corruption researcher. So these people parted me from my bag. I had no idea where it was. I even went to the police station. They had no idea where it was. And it was only by asking questions at the airport that I actually figured out where it was by making phone calls. I was able to recover it, so I was very, very lucky. But I'm kind of wondering, if you've been through an airport and you've had an encounter with the police, have they stolen your bag? So please use the comments to discuss your theft experiences with police officers. I'm a police corruption researcher, been researching police corruption since my mid to late 20s, and I'm 54 right now, so I've been doing this for almost 3 decades, and I don't think the police officers knew that I was a police corruption researcher. So that's what I find very interesting about how they disappeared this bag from me, and how I had no idea where it was. Nobody communicated to me where this bag was. I had to find it myself. So that's the Atlanta Police Department for you. If you bump into them, I wish you the best of luck, because you're going to be needing it. They're not very nice people, certainly the ones I met. So it was a very unpleasant experience at Atlanta Airport, and I just found all the staff I came into contact with to be really unpleasant, and ultimately culminated in the theft of my bag. So that's the theft of my bag story. Hope you enjoyed it, and please use the comments section to detail your theft experiences with police officers. Thanks.